Now we're going to continue with our next case here, which actually is what we call an innovation showcase, designing onboarding flows through drag and drop. And to do this, I have the pleasure to present to you Robin, which is our product manager for our newest and most innovative compliant onboarding software as a service called Mint. Please give a very warm welcome to my good friend and colleague, Robin.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, picture this. So I was feeling both nervous and excited at the same time as I entered a stage of a Signicat kickoff. What I started first to tell everyone or ask everyone, like, are you tired of coding? And then everyone started to scream back to me, no, I'm not tired of coding. I totally forgot that I wasn't actually talking to customers. I was talking to 150 developers. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So I would like to try something similar again. So can everyone maybe raise up your hand if you know how to code? Yeah, some. That's great. That's great for you guys. So then I would advise the rest of you that didn't raise your hand to follow along, because this might be helpful for you and your company. So what I'm planning to talk about here today is that I'm planning to talk a little bit about my experience and the challenges in regards of being compliant in an onboarding process. I will talk about, just a reminder, the stage timer isn't on, but maybe that's fine. Yeah. Sorry. And I will talk about a little bit what is no-code. I will do an introduction of Signicat Mint, and I will also do a quick demo of the product that we are working on. And if we have time, we can do some questions. So my past experience in regards of being compliant and onboarding processes, it takes me back to when I was working in Carnegie Investment Bank. So like many organizations, we were facing the problem of growth versus operational strain. I mean, we weren't developers, we were working in finance. So that was one of the challenges. And I mean, the traditional approach in those kind of companies is that let's hire more people. The thing there is that, or the problem there is that it's not only inefficient, but it's also costly for the company. So, and the other part there is, of course, that if you add more personnel to the problem, a lot of more errors can occur. So, yes. And then if we, when I started in Signicat, I started to be involved in a project together with Vipps and BankID. And we started this product, BankID AML. And this was super exciting because we were actually trying to solve the, we were no longer delivering like a hammer and a nail. We were actually trying to solve the problem for the customer. And we realized that it's super important to work with the customer in those kind of situations where you want to solve the problems for the customers. It was super important with feedback, and we iterated a lot together with the customer. And one of the most common things we had, because this BankID AML product, it was a product to help the customer to make a good risk assessment. So a lot of customers, they asked us about like, yeah, but can you do the risk assessment? I would love to say yes, but it's not so easy. It's not so straightforward, because it's very dependent on what how you interpret the law and what the lawyer says within a company and what the consultants or compliance officers says as well. So in the end, it's up to the customer to actually decide if what's okay or not. And the challenges we saw there is as well was that like let's say the compliance officers wanted to safeguard themselves or the company. They wanted to ask a lot of questions. They wanted to have a lot of information, and this affects the user experience for the customer. Let's see. Yeah, and then that takes me to Signicat nowadays, or when we started to work on this product. I mean, a lot of our customers have the requirements of being compliant, right? So you have multiple systems that you need. You have the fight against being compliant and the user experience for the customer. I think like what we need here is a game changer to change this to improve this. So that's one of the problems. And now what I will do now is that I will just move away from my experience, and I will go into a little bit about like developing custom workflows. So if you are a company planning to make an compliant onboarding flow, it requires developers, right? So you can use the developers in-house, but probably they are working with their maybe core business use cases, and they are busy with the important stuff. And then where we have the possibility of hiring consultants, right? That can take time. You maybe need to involve a project manager, and it can maybe take weeks or months before they get started. And yeah. And then as well, for being compliant, you need to bundle all of these different services together. And one of the biggest pains with this is that you are actually like responsible of the onboarding process. So if something happens and you don't really know what happened and where's the problem, someone in the company needs to figure out where the problem is and which vendor to reach out to and so on. And we did, I think it was 1 or 2 years ago, we did this user experience. It's a report, and we identified that 68% do drop out of the onboarding process. And this is a super, super important thing to be able to focus and try to make a good user experience for the customer and have some ideas how to keep them to stay or get them back into the process. And then, of course, all the manual processes that is in the company already, those need to be automated or digitalized, and that's also a side project to this custom or compliant onboarding. And of course, the most important thing here is that you need to create an onboarding flow that is compliant. So all of this I mentioned now is different struggles if you were planning to make your own custom onboarding. This is, of course, can be expensive, time-consuming, and cumbersome. So now we actually have a solution, right? Or we are like in a new era of no-code tools. So and it's not like a dream anymore. You can actually build things by yourself without knowing a single line of code. So and I think that's quite amazing, because I can't code myself, and I normally ask the developers to do everything. So for me now, just using the own tool that we're working with is great. And then we have, of course, all the no-code tools have some kind of visual interface, and that's the builder. So that's where you can build it. So you can consume like pre-configured activities. You can drag and drop your different input fields and so on into this visual interface to create a flow, and even use templates and so on. Another thing is that you can reduce the reliance on others. And the thing is that, I mean, you can actually be the one, or a small team, that can build the flow, you can test the flow, and you can actually set it into production. You don't need to involve an IT department, or you don't need to involve a developer. You can do everything yourself, and this equals, right, to faster time to market. And and of course, increased productivity. And then there is something that I think is super important I know I say super important a lot, but it's to iterate fast. And I mean, that's the strength of a no-code tool. So that you are able to, based on the data, or based on things, or based on the analytics, you can actually iterate fast. You can do the changes you want to. If you want to go into a new market, you can just activate those kind of by just doing configuration or settings within the visual interface. So we had a customer that we signed a deal with earlier this year, investment bank. I will talk about it in one of the other slides. And what they did, so we had the first version that we were planning to go into production. And then we started to do some iterations with them. So before they actually went to production, we had done 43 iterations. So I think we did those iterations in less than 3 days. Just imagine if you would have hired a consultancy company and you were planning to do 43 different iterations. It would, I would imagine that it would take days, maybe even weeks, to make that possible. So what can you use no-code solutions for? So of course you can use it in onboarding processes, but you can also use it for due diligence. Maybe you do like some kind of risk assessment, and you would like to do authentication with a connection to a population registry every second year. Then that's that type of flow. Maybe you just want to like do a step up. You maybe have a social login first, and then you would like to identify the person. You can, of course, design signing flows. So you can make contracts directly with the customer. And of course, you can gather information from the customer. By designing a form, of course. And of course, like redesigning existing workflows, redesigning, it could be, to digitize things. If it's like a manual process, maybe you can automate it and so on. Maybe you can connect multiple business processes that you have in your company to one flow. So now I will move into Mint. So I haven't started to talk about Mint yet, but I think, So Mint, I will just show everything because that's the easier way. So Mint is, of course, a no-code builder. You can create your own forms within it. We do support branding, profiling. There is a journey manager. Within this journey manager, you can get the overview of completed journeys and the data that you got from that specific journey from an end user. We are working on insights. As I mentioned before, being able to iterate fast, insights is one of our focuses this year, because we want to give good data to our customers for being able to do iteration fast. So that could mean that you can increase the conversion rates, you can have a better time to complete, and you can monitor how long time end user use on each step. We are supporting templates, so it's very easy to clone and make your own templates. You can copy templates and workflows between environments, from a test environment to a production environment and so on. And we do have a REST API endpoint, and we support webhooks. And this webhooks is very, you can configure the webhooks as you want and what kind of information you would like to get out from these webhooks. And what you can see in the middle is some of Signicat products. And what our vision here is that we would like to try to enable most of them within Mint. So, for example, that could be, we do have lookups on multiple markets. We do have sign, we do have authentication, we have forms, we have a good way of, we are working on a good way of sharing files in a good way. That's called secure share. And we are working also on eIDV and so on and so on. So now I will jump into, so this is just a recording that I did a couple of days ago. Let's start it. So this is actually the dashboard we are seeing here. And what happens now is that I just made like a very easy flow for you guys to not lose you, but we can make it very complex. So if anyone interested, I can show it afterwards. But what we're doing here is we are doing a MIT ID authentication, we are doing a form, and then we are doing a notification. So when a customer has completed, we get a notification in the dashboard. So this is how it could look like for an end user. So this could be shared by email, by a web page, through our API. So I'm doing the MIT login or authentication. And yeah. So what happens here now in the background is that I pre-populated the fields, as you can see below, from the MIT ID authentication. We also support custom subdomains, so you can set to apply.mybank.com, for example. We do support, as I mentioned, your own logos and primary and secondary colors. And now I'm just moving into the next step. It's a very straightforward form, but you can use a lot of different kind of input fields. What I answered now, like, yes, I'm a PEP, and now it's completed. So, but what I would like to do now is I would like to do some kind of iterations here, just to show you how easy it is. So what I'm doing now is I'm adding a new step. I'm adding a PEP and sanction check. So I'm doing a lookup now, based on the MIT ID authentication data. So I'm connecting the first activity with this lookup activity. So you can see that I would like to use the first name and last name from MIT ID. I would like to use the date of birth from MIT ID as well. Select countries. And of course, you can add logic to what, depending on country. So I have selected PEP and sanction. Okay, so now I've done that. I think I would like to show you guys something more. So example, this is the form. So what you can do here, for example, is that, I mean, I got the information from MIT ID, so why let them change it? So we can lock those fields, for example. And then I think maybe it would be wise to maybe let them describe why they are a PEP, for example. And what we need to do then is that we would like to add some kind of logic that if they select yes, then I would like this, this window to be visible, or this box to be displayed. So right now I'm doing the logic here to the left, where I just say that if it equals yes, then it should be displayed. So I think I'm done now, so I'm just pressing save and publish. And just restarting it over again, and just want to show you the output of it. Yeah. Should probably speed up this process here, but I think we are good. So now we are retrieving the data right again from the Mint ID authentication. You can see now we can't edit the data. Just adding my email and phone number. And now you can see that I have this logic of showing this box if I select yes. Of course, we can add more logic, but I just wanted to show you this very basic logic. You can create different branches. So depending on what you select or which country you are from, we can ask different questions. We can do different lookups and so on. And this page here, you can be redirected to signing a contract with the data that was entered in the form. And what I would like to show now is I will like to show you our journey manager. So this is, you can see the 2 latest journeys. And this was the first one without a PEP and sanction check. And then if I go to the last one, you can see that here we have this step that I want to show you. So, and you can see that here we can get the data from the Mint ID process, and we can get the personal details that was entered in the form, and also person PEP and sanction check. So we can see that there is no matches found. And of course, you can add a lot of things. You can add different kind of company lookups. We have access to the population registry and so on. So what I just wanted to talk about was this use case with this Norwegian investment firm that we signed earlier this year. So they wanted to have some kind of product or a system or a solution where they can get share tender offers to the shareholders of this company. And what this investment firm required was they wanted to have being able to sign with Nordic EIDs and being able to consume data from the different company house registers in the Nordic region, being able to do a PEP and sanction check, signing the contract, and being able to sign the contract in a good way. And of course, they probably don't have just one project like this. They probably have multiple projects. So it's important for them to be able to create these new flows in an easy way. And we do have some support for, you can clone a flow, for example, or you could have it as a template. And what you only needed to do is to change those specific names, for example, or company names or the project names and so on. And when we signed this deal as well, I think we signed it, and it took less than 4 days, I think, before we had like a production flow for them that they could look at or start to use. So I think they were really impressed with that, and we were also really impressed with that. It's nice to see that customers is satisfied with your solutions. And of course, it's a company that have a high security and compliance requirements. So yeah, what do you get out of Signicat Mint? Yeah, you just save time and money, and you're able to integrate to all the different Signicat services. It's a faster time to market. It can improve your conversion rates by being able to iterate fast. And of course, we are consuming the Signicat services, and this helps us to be compliant, or the customers to be compliant. Yeah, so I think that was thank you, and some questions maybe. And if you have some more questions or want to take a look at our product, you can just find us over there, and feel free to talk to us.
Great. Any questions from the audience around Mint as such? Yes, Rafael? Can you just, I think the door has a mic. Thank you for that.
Thank you. You mentioned branding, being able to brand the template.
Sorry?
You mentioned branding and the ability to actually brand the template in client colors, client. Yeah.
You said print, or I didn't get that.
The branding part you mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah,
so is that something you control, or is it something that we can do on our side?
So that's something we control. So it's just that we are consuming multiple underlying products, and not all of these products has all the branding that we would like to have. But we are pushing other teams and the products we are using to support more and more branding. So it's controlled by us. And right now it's a bit basic. So it's the logo and secondary and primary colors, and we are working on fonts and of course images, and also looking into creating like boxes and adding. We are adding some more features, and we would love to hear a lot or from our customers as well. Because I think that will affect the priorities, the priority. Yeah.
Great. I think Anders down here has a question. Yes. Hang on, Anders, I will come with the mic. Thank you for that.
Thank you. You mentioned iterations of the development process. I think you said you did 47 iterations of a onboarding flow. What kind of analytics do you have? What kind of information do you have to improve the forms you're building?
Yeah, those kind of iterations was more. They wanted to change that. They wanted to change that picture. They wanted to that the contract should include that attachment, and like a lot of small details. But it's details that can take time if it would have gone like the traditional way with custom development. Yeah.
Great. Any last questions, perhaps? Yes, Michael?
Is this meant only for small, medium-sized companies, or also enterprises?
Yeah, no, it's for every type of customers. I would say it's a tool that can maybe help a specific department with some kind of processes to automate them or make them more efficient, and I mean, for that department to actually focus on the maybe complex cases and not the basic ones that could just go through automated some kind of automation.
Great, thank you for that. And as you mentioned before, Robin, we are actually able to showcase it. So we have Mint with us today, so to speak. So in the lunch area, you have a stand where you have your computer open. So if you're interested, you can see a live demo of how to create an onboarding compliant flow. I think it's a really amazing product. I've been a part of Signicat for the last 4 years, and we're consuming APIs all the time. And now we have actually a really nice layer on top of those APIs that utilize both the lookup services, authentication, and sign, and soon other stuff also. So please go and visit Robin and his colleague and get some more information. But let's give Robin a big hand. Thank you very much, Robin.
Thank you.